Yo, what's going on, church? What's going on, yo? Listen, it's January 1st, 2013, and I feel like, you know, this is gonna be the greatest, the biggest year that I've ever experienced, and I know that, I know that's the cliche. You hear that every year, but I think, like, for me, as I sit back and I just reminisce on 2012, I can look at that year and say, man, I made a ton of excuses. I did a lot of things that wish I wouldn't have done. Um, I didn't do a lot more things I wish I would have done. Um, and I realized, man, this flesh is a beast, man. Like, allowing the comforts of life, allowing the comforts of the carnal mind to grab hold of me, have just caused this year of 2012 to kind of just breeze by me and kind of take advantage of me rather than me taking advantage of the year. Now, I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to say that, you know, that this year was totally worthless, or that it was in vain. Not at all. But what I am saying is that I made a lot of excuses. I did. I made a lot of excuses, and I think, what God is calling me to today and for this year is to acknowledge the grace that's available to me, to acknowledge the fact that, I've been called out of darkness into his light, and that this grace that's available to me is not just available to make me, able to justify my excuses and say, well, there's grace. Like, nah, this grace is available to help me to not have to make those excuses. You know what I'm saying? To be able to do what God is calling me to do without, you know what I'm saying, having to feel sorry for myself when I fall short, because I know that, his grace is sufficient. You know what I'm saying? Now that might sound like a bunch of hoopla to some of y'all, but what I'm saying is this, man. Like, I can't settle. Like, it's the first day of the year. I'm on my way now to evangelize, to get back to my first love. The thing that drove me so passionately when I first accepted the Lord, which was reaching out to those who didn't know him. And I feel like I just got to get back to the basics, man. Just, humble myself, man, and get back down to the place where nobody wants to be, man, with those who are down and out, man. And I feel like I can't make any more excuses. I can't. And yeah, I'm just sending this out, man. Salute, you know what I'm saying, to all my soldiers out there for Christ, doing it real, man. I mean, who are making no excuses. We're going places, man. God is doing something through his church, and I'm honored. I'm privileged to be a part of that. And yeah, man, just keep me in prayer. You know what I'm saying? We're taking it, man. We're taking the city. We're taking this world one day at a time, one person at a time. I'm going to leave you with this, you know what I'm saying? In 1 Corinthians 15, Paul is talking about the gospel and how he gave, to that church what was of first and utmost importance, which was the gospel. And then he says down later in that chapter, he says, for the grace, for God's grace towards me was not in vain, because I worked harder than all the apostles, and I'm looking at that verse, this year in new light, where I'm saying, all right, God's grace is available to me, and rather than making excuses and saying that, there's people who are gifted, there's people who are talented, let them do what God's calling them to do, I'm gonna say no. God's grace is available to me, and I'm going to work harder than any of them. Not that I may find a reason to boast in and of myself, but so that I can find a reason to say, you can do this too. You know what I'm saying? You can do this, and we can do this together because God's grace is with us. So yeah, anyways, I love y'all. I'm here pulling up to my destination, which is, you know what I'm saying, downtown, Lank, you know what I mean? But anyways, man, I love y'all. God bless. Keep me in prayer, right? Over and out.